had a tremendous CEO panel yesterday with 5 esteemed colleagues from a number of different firms across asset management and technology and outsourced providers. And they gave some really interesting views on what differentiation and growth meant, but all of them came from the same backdrop of it being a very challenging environment today. We are in a world of margin compression. We're in a world where profitability is being scrutinised, and the ability to manage costs and create scalable solutions whilst driving both their active and passive strategies is an interesting conundrum for them. So there are 3 key products that our clients are really thinking about in that evolution of what they're offering under that product solutions and partnership type model. Number 1, artificial intelligence. Again, a real big theme for last year, come up again this year, and you can see the growing momentum and use of AI by a number of the firms. Number 2, ESG, very important under the sustainability umbrella, and again, as you would expect, a very important theme throughout the product offerings that asset managers put on their shelf. And thirdly, and as importantly, a growing consensus that private assets and alternatives are really important products that are going to help fuel the growth of a number of our clients, both regionally and globally, and also products that will be on the table for discussion when it comes to increased liquidity through tokenization and other technology-led initiatives. I think we're in a very interesting technology-led evolution at the moment. And again, this came up yesterday in the panel session, and people viewed it as an evolution rather than a revolution. So a lot of our clients at Calastone, which represent the community of the funds ecosystem, asset managers, the custodians and security services providers, and the distributors, are now all looking at emerging technologies like tokenization and what it can do to open those products up and those tokenized products up to a much wider set of end investors, whilst at the same time really reducing that cost. Again, talks to the first question around being able to take some of that cost out of the funds ecosystem and giving some of that value back to the end consumer. So those technologies, those pioneering technologies, are really, really important and are being adopted by the clients. The panel yesterday, sort of pretty much in unity, said that they view tokenization of collective investment vehicles as a when, not an if. But there are subtleties in the types of tokenization of funds and which asset class level or a wrapper level they see it happening. So different clients have different views on the timing. There's probably one word of caution, and that word of caution is don't forget that the mutual fund industry is 100 years old this year, and we find ourselves still with a spaghetti or a mess of yesterday in how the funds ecosystem and processing has evolved. How to undo that while still putting on top of it some nice new sparkly technology and new types of evolving strategies is never easy to do. So it's very interesting when you look at clients, and at Calastone we have 4,000 clients across that funds ecosystem. Although a lot of those clients are very global in nature, we will actively look at those clients from a perspective of region by region or country or territory by territory. You have to understand those market nuances. We spend a lot of time, and we're very fortunate the position that we're in at Calastone to spend a lot of time talking to our clients in each of those countries, helping them understand the landscape and how they need to evolve their strategy. I've touched a little bit on the sort of revenue growth opportunities and challenges. It's important not to forget that cost. And cost is a really good example of how you need to evolve your strategy on a region by region basis. If I look at an asset manager in the UK, their ability to process the mutual funds business will cost a certain amount of direct costs. Now, that equivalent organisation in, let's say, Malaysia, could actually end up doing exactly the same strategic direction of travel, but the cost of resources there is much lower. So some of the return on investment on technology strategies may vary and their why may differ. In the UK, it may be about taking out a large amount of fixed cost. In Malaysia, they may look at that and go, actually, delivering technology solutions there will give you a better client experience, will allow you to deal with those partnership opportunities and take the client on a journey. So different demands, different drivers, depending on the client, depending on the region. Collaboration is a word that gets used a lot, has been used a lot in my time in this industry. If I look actually at FundForum here, this is all about collaboration. And this year, I see a real heightened level of engagement with all the community of clients and partners that are here to want to talk, to want to learn and listen, but also to discuss opportunities. So I actually feel that that industry collaboration is going to that next level from just talking to actual outcomes and delivery orientated rather than action orientated. Probably the best example you see today is with our regulators in both Singapore and the UK. The MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore, and the FCA and the Treasury in the UK. They have brought together all industry participants to talk about tokenization and how it can fit into the existing regulatory framework. Their ability to get all those players at the table over the last year to 18 months and take it as far as they have is quite exceptional. We are now in a position where clients are not nervous about the greatest barrier to entry of regulation in those markets and are more excited about how they can deploy tokenization in those markets within the regulatory boundaries, feeling comfortable they understand the what, the how, and the when they can move forward with that. Great example set by Singapore, by the UK, and they are now embracing both Japan and Switzerland, and those 4 countries are doing a tremendous job of sharing and collaborating best practice, and hopefully that mantra will continue across other jurisdictions as well. You can look at this from both a positive or maybe a cynical point of view. I'll take the positive. The positive is the momentum that we have today, whether it's around tokenization or a technology-led evolution, means that all the participants in the funds ecosystem want to evolve the products they're offering, the value they're giving those clients, and trying to address that margin compression that I've alluded to already. So that ability to try and create positive jaws where revenues are growing faster than costs is a great outcome and measurement that I think is firmly fixed on all the participants today. The fact is we are still in a challenging environment. Clients do want that value. Margins continue to be compressed. So the challenge is really on the participants to look at innovative and creative ways to bring solutions to the market. I think personally in 2024, the rest of 24 and into 25, what you will see is a growing number of actual pilots rather than proof of concepts. Proof of concepts for me were almost done away from the real world in a lot of respects. And when it came to putting them into the real world, they didn't necessarily fit. So for Calastone, for example, we're very focused on creating pilots with our clients that create a natural landing into a production real world space. So less what I would call hobbies, more genuine deliverables that fit into a client's aspirations and their end investor aspirations.